Welcome to a game of Will It A.S.R. I'm Amanda Brown, an educator with Janome Canada. I'm here to try out a whole bunch of materials and fabrics on Janome's new A.S.R, Accurate Stitch Regulator. This specially designed foot has a fabric reading sensor on the bottom. As you move your fabric under this foot, the sensor picks up how fast you're moving the fabric, relays that information to the machine, changes how quickly it is stitching, and it makes your stitches nice and consistent, just like magic. I've brought so many different fabrics to try out. Some I have a pretty good idea of how they will perform, and a few that are just a little bit out there. Will it be able to read every single one of them, or will it have some difficulties? Why start in an easy place when we could start someplace where I already have doubts? Black athletic stretchy mesh. Will this one work? I don't know about that. Can you hear that machine changing speed? That's matching the speed of my hands as I move the fabric under the needle. I promise you, when that foot pedal is down, it is down. I am not adjusting my speed there. So the A.S.R is reading this fabric really well. The biggest issue here is that it is a stretch fabric, and I probably would not be using a free motion stitch on it like this unless it was stabilized with a different fabric underneath it or a wash away stabilizer. Next up, we have this lovely rib knit, which is also stretchy, but it is working so well with the stitch regulator. It's reading it no problem, and because it's a thicker fabric, it is allowing us to sink those stitches in without a problem. Next up is a woven fabric, which is typically what you would be using free motion stitches on. This is a nice dark black fabric, which I think sometimes we think might be harder to read, but you can see here that the A.S.R is working perfectly with it, and we have some gorgeous stitches happening. I'm not gonna lie, I picked this fabric because it was bright, hilariously bright, and I love bright colors, and I thought this would just be fun to see if our A.S.R works with it, and it does. We're seeing some tucks there, but that's because it's a stretchy fabric and I didn't have it stabilized properly. Who doesn't have neon pink tulle laying around the house? Okay, maybe not all of you, but I had some laying around and I had to try it out. The holes are big, it's lightweight. I had my doubts that this would work at all with the A.S.R, but it did. I think if you want it to look perfect, you would have to stabilize it or finesse the stitch length a little bit. Okay, time for something a little bit more normal again. Here is a red woven fabric, and no surprise, the stitch regulator works perfectly on this woven red fabric. Of course, we have to throw in another little obstacle here. How about some shiny, sparkly golden fabric? I had some doubts about the glitter causing some sort of reader error, but it worked great with this. How about some pleather, or vegan leather, if you will? This has like a fabric coating on the back, which makes it slide over the machine super nicely, and it stitches with the A.S.R with zero problems. It's gorgeous. Let's use more of this stuff. Let's work with some stretch glitter holographic knit fabric for dancewear, which is tricky on a good day, but here we are. We're going to use the A.S.R on it, and it works just so perfectly with this fabric. The reader has zero issues with the holographic glitter glare off of this fabric. Many quilters will be familiar with this kind of fabric. It is a polyester plush fabric that we often use on the back side of quilts. The A.S.R reads this so well, even though it is a white, and our stitches sink into this beautifully. So even though I'm using a dark thread, you just see kind of this shadow, but superb action with the A.S.R. And so let's get ridiculous. Here's some clear vinyl. Do I think this will work? No, did not think for a second it would work, and it's not. It's clear, it's hard for the machine to see, and it's also sticky, so it's not moving under the foot very well at all. When I layer it on top of a tissue paper, it one, slides better, but two, gives something for the sensor to read. Is it perfect? No, but we're pushing the limits here. It did perform better than I thought, so let's give that a win. I have some shag minky here, and I thought this would have problems with it because it would be rubbing up against the sensor, causing issues or having an inability to read it properly, but it did superbly well. And then I bring back the clear vinyl because why not? And now we're pairing it with a black underneath of it just to see if it can still read that. It's still dragging a bit. It's not perfect, but I mean, come on. the sensor is doing amazing things here. Thank you so much for joining me today while I push the limits of Janome's new A.S.R Accurate Stitch Regulator, helping us take our stitches to the next level.